rules of the road in Dubai, which fascinates me and which I think is amazing that you do it everywhere in the world, is that we actually can drive 20 kilometers over the speed limit. So if there's a speed sign on the road and it says 60 kilometers per hour, you can actually go up to 80 kilometers an hour without getting a traffic fine. But if you go 81 kilometers an hour, you will get a traffic fine. However, this is not in Abu Dhabi. So I don't know why, and it is really crazy, but as soon as you cross over from Dubai into Abu Dhabi, you need to stick to the speed limits. There are massive signs everywhere on the highways telling you to make sure that you stick to the speed limits. So not a kilometer over the speed limit in Abu Dhabi, but in Dubai and all the other Emirates, you can go up to 20 kilometers over the speed limit. So that's pretty awesome. So watch out for those speed limits and make sure that you stay within the 20 kilometer allowance. Because you cannot navigate in Dubai without a GPS. I really suggest, having used maps for the last 2 years, that you'd load Waze and use Waze rather. And the reason for this is that Google Maps for some reason sometimes gets confused when there's lots of different roads that are diverging and you need to choose a road. Whereas Waze shows you exactly which lane you need to stay in. And this might sound ridiculous, but in Dubai it's very crucial that when you come to an intersection that has maybe 4, 5, 6 different roads where you need to make sure you go on the right, take the right off-ramp, that you are on the right off-ramp. So you need to be aware of the fact that Google Maps doesn't actually direct you often in the right direction. It can say keep right, and then you're not sure which right it wants you to keep, because if you take the furthest right, it sometimes is wrong. So make sure that you download Waze, I would recommend, so that you can take the right off-ramps. Because this brings me to my next point, which is, if you are going somewhere and you don't know where you're going and you are using Waze or you're using Google Maps and you happen to take a wrong turn and you see way in the distance there is the Burj Khalifa and that's where you want to go to, in my country what you would do is you'd head in that direction. In Dubai, you cannot do that. You can't be driving down Sheikh Zayed and think if you're going straight at this point and you can see the Burj Khalifa in front of you, that's where you're going to end up. Because suddenly Sheikh Zayed or whatever road you're on can take you in this direction off to totally somewhere else when you actually wanted to go over there. So the roads are very unpredictable. So you really don't actually know in which direction you will end up going, because a lot of the roads are turny and go in really weird directions, literally. So make sure that you have a GPS and that you follow it, and don't rely on your own inner compass, because just because you need to go west doesn't mean you should drive west. So be aware of that. Another thing in Dubai that happens consistently that maybe doesn't happen in other countries is that the rules are enforced. So if you, say for instance, are distracted and you're using your cell phone while you're driving, you might not even know that somebody is spotting you and that you are getting a fine. And the next thing, you'll just get a SMS ping ping on your mobile device and it will say that you have been fined. So there are plainclothes officials driving around on the roads, and remember the cameras are monitored all the time at the traffic centers. And so if you are driving on the roads and you aren't following the rules of the road, don't think there isn't a police car around so you're safe. That's not the case at all. You need to follow the rules of the road. There are thousands of people on the road every day, and the death rates in the UAE are very low, although we have a lot of fender benders. Going on the roads is really an experience, but I think less so than in other countries. So please make sure that you do follow the rules of the road. It does make it easier at the end of the day for everyone, and you'll save some money, because some people can rack up a lot of traffic fines. In the first month that I started driving and was learning about the road, I had traffic fines of up to 3,500 dirhams, which was a great loss for our family, which was just starting out in Dubai when money is really important to save money. So if you don't want to waste money, take my advice and rather make sure that you stay within the speed limit allowances and that you follow the rules of the road. And you load Waze, because that will help you so that you don't make mistakes and you don't have to change lanes at the last minute and do things that could result in a penalty. Traffic lights, they can take ages for sometimes. You can stand in a traffic light for literally 5 minutes, but then everyone goes and drives for 5 minutes. So you'll be surprised, it actually does make the traffic flow better. But if you're stuck in a road and nothing's happening and people are hooting behind you, even though they know that you are stuck at a traffic light, they're going to hoot anyway because it's just out of frustration. It's something that people do here. They just hoot out of frustration, even though they know that nobody can do anything about it. So if you're stuck in a line of cars at a traffic light and wondering what is going on over here, it's usually a traffic light that you're waiting for. 5 minutes, I've sat for 8 minutes at a traffic light. You can literally paint your nails or read a book while you wait. I don't suggest you do that in traffic, but anyway, it does take time, so just be patient. And I think it's okay to honk your horn as well if you feel a little bit frustrated. Everybody seems to do it. So if you do happen to have a fender bender, which is very common here, happens all the time, it's really, really easy. What you need to do is, and of course I'm talking from experience because I've had one myself, with a bus which drove into the back of me. Anyway, you pull over to the side of the road, make sure that the other person also gets out their car. You go and one of you loads the Dubai Police app if you haven't got it on your phone already, and you log an incident. It's really fast and very easy, and the person whose fault it is will pay the fees in order to get the police report. And it's easy to fill in. You say what happened, you show where the damage is on both cars, and then you leave the scene and you get your report. It's really easy, and you can then put that forward for your insurance to claim from your insurance. Something I don't think people are aware of is that you cannot overtake a school bus if it has its stop sign out. So they put stop signs out so that the cars can stop, so that the kids can safely cross the road. But there is a very hefty fine, I think it is actually 1,000 dirhams, if you overtake a school bus when they have that stop sign out. So be careful. If you are behind a school bus, rather stay behind the school bus until the stop sign is closed and all the kids are safely in the bus. So do not pass a school bus if it has its stop sign out. So in South Africa, we get fined for making U-turns. But in Dubai, U-turns are a way of life. It's actually part of the road system here. So you'll see there's a lot of signs that say a U-turn, and Google Maps as well, and Waze often makes you go and do a U-turn. So it's a thing here, but make sure that you don't do a U-turn when it says no U-turns allowed, because there are hefty fines for not obeying the rules of the road here. So U-turns definitely a thing, and I must say it really makes driving here much easier, because you often take wrong turns, and a U-turn just makes it easier to get back on the right track and go the opposite direction. So enjoy all the U-turns here. In Dubai, pedestrians are king. So you need to stop for pedestrians. It's actually quite weird if you are a pedestrian. We live close to a shopping center, and we often walk from our apartment to the shopping center, and it's really great because you can just literally walk into the road and off you go. And cars literally stop on a dime. So if you're driving a car, it's not as much fun as if you're a pedestrian, because you really need to watch out for pedestrians. There are, again, hefty fines if you do not stop at a pedestrian crossing for a pedestrian. Now there's a warning there as well for pedestrians, because you need to cross at pedestrian crossings. Jaywalking is not allowed, even though everyone does it here. Be aware of the fact that you need to really cross at a pedestrian crossing, and then the cars will stop. But make sure that you do look out for cars, because accidents also happen. So pedestrians are king. Enjoy being a pedestrian in Dubai, and if you're driving in your car, make sure you watch out for those people who are walking So here's something you really need to know. Often in Dubai, you're not sure whether there's two-lane traffic, whether it's a one-way or two-lane. And how you can know is there is a yellow line in the middle of the road. So if there's a yellow line in the middle of the road, you know that it's dual traffic, so two-way traffic. If there's a white line, if the line is white in the middle of the road, then it's one-way traffic. So that's a good tip. Check out for the yellow line and you should be safe. So that's it. I hope it's helped you. I hope it's helped you with going on the roads in Dubai for the first time. I think my number one piece of advice is you really need to be assertive. You really need to be confident. You need to be sure that you know what you're doing, and don't let anybody push you around because it can be tricky. So you've got your license, you know what you're doing. Be confident, be assertive, and enjoy driving on the roads in Dubai.